Another week and another set of startups raising funds. So which were the biggest fundraisers of the last week of September? Let's find out at Your Story's weekly funding roundup. Well, the last week of September saw close to $88.8 million raised by Indian startups across 17 equity deals. Now, this is a 47% dip from last week when Indian startups had raised close to $169.4 million across 21 equity deals. Well, after making a comeback last week, this week again, there was no funding which was raised through debt by Indian startups. This week, late-stage deals took precedence. 45% of the overall deal value raised by Indian startups in the last week of September was raised by late-stage deals. A total of $39.9 million was put in late-stage startups this week. Next up, there was growth-stage deals, which contributed close to $25 million of the overall deal value this week. And then finally, there was early-stage deals, which contributed close to $24 million of the overall deal value raised by Indian startups in the last week of September. This week, Gurugram-based Off Business said that it has raised close to $35 million in a round led by Norwest Venture Partners, which also saw participation from Falcon Edge as well as Matrix Partners. Now, Off Business was started in 2015 by Ashish Mohapatra, who is a former VC at Matrix Partners, Bhuvan Gupta, who is the ex-Vice President of Engineering at Snapdeal, as well as Ms. Ruchi Kalra, who was an ex-partner at McKinsey. Darwinbox, an end-to-end HR solution startup this week, said that it has raised close to $15 million in a round led by Sequoia India. Now, existing investors, which include NVIDIA Partners, Lightspeed India Partners, as well as 314 Capital, also participated as a part of this round. With this funding, the startup says that it will be using these investments to expand its solutions footprint across Asia, as well as focus on product innovation. This week, Hyderabad-based employee transportation startup Whistle Drive said that it has raised close to $10 million from Chicago-based Colosseum Group. Now, with this funding, the startup says that in the next 12 months, it is looking to expand its operations in cities beyond Hyderabad, Bengaluru, and Chennai, as well as look at fleet management and expanding of its fleet, as well as looking at customer acquisition. This week, cancer care aggregator Onco said that it has raised close to $7 million as a part of its Series A round led by Axel Partners, Chirate Ventures, as well as the Dream Incubator. Now, the startup plans to be a one-stop shop for all needs related to cancer patients as well as caregivers. With this fundraise, the startup looks to expand its operations globally as well as focus on customer acquisition. In other deals this week, there was Singapore-based global image processing startup TerraView, which raised close to $815,000 as a part of its Series A round, led by Kalyan Krishnamurthy, the group CEO of Flipkart, Binny Bansal, the co-founder of Flipkart, Sujit Kumar, the co-founder of Udaan, as well as Tanglin Venture Partners. Then there is US and India-based natural supplements startup One Balance, which raised close to $2 million as a part of its seed funding led by Axel Partners. An interesting turn of events took place when it comes to exits in the Indian startup ecosystem. There is Flipkart co-founder Sachin Bansal, who this week infused close to 740 crores in Chaitanya Rural Intermediaries Development Services, or CRIDS, and acquired a majority stake in the startup. With this funding, Sachin Bansal also assumes the role of CEO of the NBFC. Then there is skill gaming platform Jungly Games, which acquired Algorithm Tech Labs, a Bengaluru-based gaming startup. Finally, there was Haptic, which is a Reliance subsidiary which acquired Buzzo.ai, a Mumbai-based conversational commerce startup. Well, that was the weekly funding roundup for the last week of September. My name is Tarush Bhalla, and I'm going to catch up with you next week with another interesting roundup of the funding which goes in the Indian startup ecosystem. A special shout out to our wardrobe sponsors, Uncuffed Clothing. So stay good until next week as I catch up with you, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more such videos.